Hi Aquarius, my name is Audrey Allison. Thank you for joining me for your April 2016 forecast for the month, where I'll be using my alchemical deck by Robert M. Place. It's a limited edition, out of print. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of retrogrades, personal planets, and then some. So let's just get into April, and thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking this page and for liking my Facebook page, Audrey Allison Astrology and Tarot. So on the 5th of April, Aquarius, we have two personal planet transits. We have Venus shifting into Aries, into your third house of communication, entrining the fire signs in Sagittarius, where Mars is stationed and a retrograde Saturn is stationed. A trine is a 120-degree angle of a harmonious aspect in astrology between your third house, where you hold Aries, and your 11th house, where you hold your social friendships, your social sector, your goals, your wishes, and accomplishments in the 11th. This is a solar scope, but it's best to watch your ascendant sign for transits. They're really accurate for your natal positioning on your chart. Your ascendant depicts where your first house begins in astrology, the degree of your ascendant. But for a solar forecast, your 3rd and 11th house have a harmonious energy. So your communication style with your friends, your speeches and written communication to clubs, affiliations, and organizations. There's a smoothing over. There's also a review with Saturn in this sector, a review of the social connections and friendships at this time, a restriction with who you're deciding to spend your time with. Mars is giving this sector energy, though. It's a little bit of it's an irony, an ironic placement. Mars giving energy and Saturn withholding. And this is in the 11th. So you're discerning your connections with friendships and clubs at this time. Venus, however, beautifying your words, your attractiveness in how you communicate and your speech. Mercury entering Taurus the same day on the 5th into the fourth house of home, fourth house of environment, the fourth house of the mother. When Taurus is activated for you, which governs the solar fourth, the earth signs are activated. Pluto is stationed in Capricorn. So this trine eventually, as Mercury goes through Taurus, this trine will exist between the quiet houses of the 4th and the 12th. The 12th, the very spiritual. You've got Pluto, the planet of intensity, in a sector of psychic awareness and the subconscious mind and the development of spirituality and your intuition. And Pluto is, goes deep. Pluto is a very slow planet, very cold, dark planet, but his intensity level is through the roof in a sector that you need to be powerful, in my opinion. Your intuition. I think that most Aquarians can trust their gut, but you might have felt that you lost faith in something. That's something I'm channeling, and Pluto can be loss in the 12th in addition to intensity, but some of you might have lost your spirituality. Losing My Religion is the song I'm hearing. That's interesting. Even though religion is technically the 9th house, there's a connection to God in the 12th house, a connection to spirituality. But Mercury trining this energy in your 4th to 12th could see you interacting a lot with spirit in the home, could have you remaining attached to what comforts you in the 4th house of nurturing and self-care and your foundation and your roots. Everything starts with how you take care of yourself, Aquarius, and I'm prompted to say that you have to take care of your inner self just as much as you're taking care of your outer self, and that will resonate with some of you. Our new moon occurs early in the month on the 7th of April. We have our new moon at 18 degrees of Aries. This is that 3rd house of communication where Venus is stationed. And this new moon will be conjunct Venus, Uranus, and the sun and the moon are there. So this is spontaneous electric energy. You could, okay, the new moon in the third is not just about communication, although that has a lot to do with it, but it's about your siblings and your connection to your neighborhood and your neighbors and the local vicinity around you, local travel, the vehicle as well with the new moon in the third. A new ride could be coming into the picture. And suddenly with Uranus there, not expecting it, not planning for it, better yet. Maybe you're expecting it, but you're not really planning for it, and you could just come home with a nice ride, or if you have a little down payment. And you know what else I'm supposed to say? You don't even need a down payment for a car these days. Some of you are, some of you are wavering on the idea of to part with some money. I'm also getting a figure of $1,200 for a vehicle. You don't even need to. You could go into this place with zero down and get this car. So things can work with you with the new moon in the third. And if it's not just a car, the third house is transportation in general. So if you want to get places in a new way, this is your time to focus your energy on that on the 7th and make your lists and check them twice. See what manifests. It's the only new moon you'll receive in the third. If you want to work on your relationships with siblings, this is also a beautiful time to do so. On the 17th, Mars will retrograde in Sagittarius, and he'll retrograde back to 23 degrees of Scorpio. So this retrograde occurs in this 11th house of friendships and goals for you, back into the career sector. And this is through June 30th of 2016, Aquarius. So your Mars review, your energy review, where do you have your stamina? What do you need to finish, accomplish? Put your energy into a certain club or organization, and that could actually help finish up something in the job. Maybe the two are related somehow. On a psychic level, I'm feeling that if you can finish up a task or obligation in the 11th house, groups and clubs and organizations that you've joined, or with your friends, something that you've committed to with them, then it also helps review something in their career. On the 18th, Pluto retrogrades deeper into the 12th house. So you're going real deep into the subconscious mind, Aquarius. The intensity when Pluto retrogrades in a house of spirituality, a very quiet house, the last house before the first house. You could be, it's almost like your mind is running the show and you're not even there. It's just all about your inner workings, inner knowledge. On the 19th, the Sun enters Taurus. This is the 4th house where Mercury is stationed. Being at home for the Aquarius might be something that you're compelled, the comfort is there. You might be compelled to just remain in your security blanket, Aquarius, which isn't your normal vibe, but there's something very protective about the Sun in Taurus conjunct Mercury, trining Pluto in the 12th. You're withdrawn a little bit. You might not need to be so exposed right now, which is fine. You can't be at 100 all the time. I say that. You can't just be active, action, action, action. Some of this is a time of rest, and the 4th, 8th, and 12th house are the houses of rest. So when you see a lot of planetary action in those houses on your natal charts, I would go with that flow of energy and not against it. On the 22nd of April, we have our full moon at 2 degrees of Scorpio, bringing a complete closure and awareness in the 10th house of career, the 10th house of authority, recognition, the paternal figure, the house of the father. I certainly don't wish any endings with father figures out there. I completely understand if you are dealing with the loss of a father. My heart goes out to you regarding that, but this could also be the ending of a career, and for those of you in this phase of your life of retirement, a full moon in the 10th is the perfect time to do so. It makes you, with a clean break, you can walk away with things completely accomplished and with a sense of achievement in the 10th house. For those of you who aren't in retirement and you're dealing with a very healthy father, this could be bringing an ending to a goal in the work. We have our Mercury retrograde this month on the 28th of April through the 23rd of May, officially clearing his shadow on June 7th. And that is the degree in which he retrograded at 23 degrees of Taurus back through 14 degrees of Taurus. And this Mercury review occurs in the 4th house of home for you, where the sun will be. So I feel like you're reviewing the environment, looking around the 4 walls in which you live. I don't think it's best to take action with Mars retrograde right now in your living situation. Regarding your living situation, but it's best to just take note of what you're thinking. Write a lot of it down in that Mercury review. By the end of it, you might end up in a new living situation, or you might just be reviewing the connection with mother. It's interesting. You have the paternal energy ending with the full moon, or a connection with paternal authoritative energy, and then the retrograde of Mercury is in the mother sector. So, again, not applying to every one of you in every single way, but perhaps you can draw from these energies that I'm describing and it'll resonate with you. But this Mercury review will last until the 23rd of May. And so watch the travel, especially if in your natal charts that this retrograde occurs in the 3rd or 9th house for you of local travel, foreign travel. Venus is entering Taurus on the 29th, and this is occurring in your 4th house of home. So that sense of comfort and protection is strong for you going into May, into that retrograde. Let's see what cards occur for Aquarius for the month of April. Judgment. This is a lot of spirituality. See how they're rising from the grave, these two people? That 12th house where you have Pluto. There could be people who have passed, for those of you who have lost relatives who are in communication right now. The card of Judgment could also mean that you are your own worst critic right now. Let's see what else comes up. Pluto in the 12th is actually this. Because this is Pluto, this is Scorpio and ruled by Pluto, and this is the card of people who have passed. It's a very deep spiritual card, the 12th house, so that's very interesting. Pluto in the 12th is judgment and death, transformation. 3 of Wands. This is foreign travel, or the initiating. The wands are action, the initiating steps of planning a trip, your vision, where you see yourself. Your new moon in your 3rd could see you traveling, conjunct Venus. Let's see what the last card is. Action, initiation, Mars. Ace of Wands, Ace of Fire, taking steps. Okay, so some of you, this reading isn't for every single Aries. However, Aquarius. For those of you Aquarians who have lost relatives, you're then going away to heal and taking steps to do that. I feel like removing yourself from the environment in which they passed. Some of you have lost people within the home. My heart goes out to anyone who's dealing with death. It's the hardest thing we have to conquer in this life path, is when we lose family, and I'm no stranger to that. So if anybody is dealing with that, my heart goes out to you. The Empress is also here. That's the 4th house of home and mother, where you hold Venus at the end of the month, and Mercury enters there, where you have your Mercury retrograde in the 4th house. Some of you are reviewing your relationships to your mother at this time. There's a lot of mother-father energy for Aquarians. So if you're losing a parent at this time, you might heal through taking course of action and removing yourself and going away. If there is anything that you could do to heal at this time, the Ace of Wands is saying take action. I'm wishing you all of the best, Aquarius, in the month of April. I apologize for the noise again. Remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.